Greetings, this is Mr. Caslin. Let's talk a little bit about the trigonometry translations that you've been working on in class. You've been graphing the trigonometry functions. For example, this is the general form of the sine function. We're getting used to what this sine wave looks like. Now you have your different variables that are going to affect the translation. For example, A is going to be the amplitude of the wave, how high and how low does it go. Remember, B is the period. Remember, the period of one of these trig functions can be determined by 2 pi divided by b. Okay, we'll talk about that more in a little bit. And then your C and D act like your Algebra 2 translations. Remember your opposite HK? Well, this is opposite CD. Your C affects your horizontal translation, and D affects the vertical translation. Remember, because it's minus C, you're going to go in the opposite direction. If this was minus 4, that means you'd be shifted 4 to the right. Okay, so the basic sine function, let's look at some of the variables here. So for the basic sine function, the amplitude is 1. That's why you have a maximum of 1 and a minimum of -1 in the function. Your period is also your b, and this is also 1. So 2 pi divided by 1 is 2 pi. That's why your function starts at 0 and goes all the way to 2 pi. And there are no shifts horizontally and vertically, so we're starting, the basic sine function starts at 0, goes 0 high, 0 low, 0. Okay, now let's look at what a translation would look like. Here is a different sine function. Let's figure out how this new function would translate. Alright, so the period is going to be 2 pi over b. In this case, well, it looks like b is still 1. So this new function is still going to start, well, we're going to figure out where it's going to start, but from where it starts and where it ends will be a total of distance of 2 pi. Okay, the distance will be 2 pi. Alright, so let's do our 0, high, 0, low, 0. Let's find out where all these crucial points are going to be. Now, remember, we have a minus pi over 3, and we have a amplitude of 1/2. So let's take care of the amplitude first. Amplitude means that this function is not, oh, I'm sorry, that's not what I want. Let's grab this. Our function is not going to go higher than positive 1/2. And our function is not going to go lower than -1/2. So we're going to be within this range here. Okay. Now, the normal sine function starts at 0, but we have shifted what? We're shifting to the right pi over 3. So we know that the starting point for our new sine function will be at pi over 3. Let's say that that's about right here. We're going to have to approximate those a little bit. Now our high, well, let's do this. Where is it going to be? Where is it going to end? Well, we know our regular sine function ends at 2 pi. Okay, so we're adding pi over 3 to 2 pi. Think about a little, let's do a little fraction math. We're adding 3 pi, I'm sorry, pi over 3 to 2 pi. Well, 2 pi is the same as 6 pi over 3. So 6 pi over 3 plus pi over 3, we now get a 7 pi over 3. So all we've done is started at 2 pi, but we know we have shifted our sine function to the right, pi over 3. Okay, so 7 pi over 3, let's call that here. So the new sine function is going to start here and end here. Well, the other 0 of our sine function is usually halfway between 0 and 2 pi, so it's halfway between our endpoints. So we're going to try to, we get to figure out what's halfway between pi over 3 and 7 pi over 3. Well, when you find the midpoint of 2 points, let's just add them together and take half. So 1 pi over 3 plus 7 pi over 3 is 8 pi over 3. Okay, half of 8 pi over 3 is 4 pi over 3. Okay, so we found our other 0. Let's see, 8 pi over 3, let's call that, I'm sorry, 4 pi over 3 is like 1 1/3 pi. So So here's our 0 points for our new function. We know we're still looking at this amplitude. Now let's find our high point and our low point. Now again, the high point on a regular sine function is halfway between the two zeros, and the low point is halfway between the other two zeros. So again, let's do a little fraction math here. We add pi over 3 and 4 pi over 3, we get 5 pi over 3. So 5 pi over 3, but we're taking half of that, so just increase that denominator by 2. We get 5 pi over 6. And here we're going to have, if we add these 2 points together, we get 11 pi over 3. Go halfway, take half of 11 pi over 3, and you get 11 pi over 6. So these are the 5 critical points you need to graph it. We have our 0 high, 0 low, 0. So our high is at, think of this as 1/6 less than 1. So we're about right here. This is 1/6 less than 2 pi. So what, we're probably about right here. So let's remember our sine function is going to go up first to the 0, go down, go back to 0. So it's only half as tall because we had an amplitude of 1/2 and we have shifted pi over 3 to the right. Okay, keep practicing this. Some of these are pretty easy, and some of these can get very difficult, especially if you have all 4 of the coefficients to deal with. And when I see you next time, let me know if you need more help, and we'll do some more of these problems. Thanks.